warm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So much for the Great White North. Is that a giant Jack Daniels bottle I see over there? It is. Hey, what's going on? We are here in a surprisingly warm Vancouver, British Columbia. I'm joined by Raphael Van Lierop, and you, sir, are a producer on Warhammer 40k Space Marine. How you doing?
Correct. I'm doing well. Thank you for coming and giving us the chance to talk about Space Marine.
Absolutely. So, since this is the unveiling, give me your quick 30-second pitch. If somebody's never heard of this game before, just sort of spell it out for us.
This is Warhammer 40,000 like you've never seen it before. Space Marine is a third-person shooter with a deep melee component. The seamless combination of those two elements creates a really interesting combat experience that we think is really fresh. The 40k IP is a great aesthetic wrapper for us. It gives us this deep fiction to draw from. The world is really rich. The scale of everything is huge. Everything about the aesthetic really will help Space Marines stand out against the competition. It's all about delivering on the core fantasy of being a Space Marine, the original Space Marine. So you are a 7-foot tall, essentially a superhuman warrior encased in armor. Have these amazing weapons at your disposal, and you're marching onto the battlefield to do battle with all the enemies of the Imperium. And that's really that's what the fantasy is of Space Marine. That's what we're delivering.
If people are not familiar with the fiction, what are you guys doing to kind of ease them into the universe?
The thing is about 40k is it's an amazing sort of hybrid of a lot of really common science fiction tropes. So I think even if you don't know 40k well, but you like science fiction, you'll be able to identify something to love in Space Marine. The wealth of sort of weaponry that we have at our disposal, the variety of enemy types that we can fight, the sort of situations that we can throw the player into. It's all dramatic. It's all really in the blockbuster aesthetic. It's really the perfect IP to express this type of game. And I think that a lot of people, either whether they're fans of 40k or not, are going to look at this and say, this is the 40k game that I've been waiting for.
You guys showed the Imperium and Orcs in your demo today. There are certainly some other well-known factions in the 40k universe. Are we going to see those pop up in the game?
No comment.
All right, I had
to try.
I had to try. Yeah, that's my job. You guys have made kind of a bold decision to not include a cover mechanic in this game. That's obviously something you see in probably most third-person shooters these days. What was the thinking behind that decision?
So the decision to not have a traditional kind of Snap 2 cover system was very deliberate on our part. We experimented a lot in development with that. Obviously that's type of system because obviously it was expected and seemed like a natural fit, and what we discovered was it really contradicted two really key pillars of our player experience. One, it was not very compatible with having this really seamless responsive melee. As you see in our demo, or in our game, we have our combat model is all about this seamless switching between shooting and melee, and that's really part of what makes the gameplay of Space Marine feels so unique, and the Snap 2 cover system was really just not compatible with trying to deliver on that. The second part is more kind of IP related, and it really speaks more to the core fantasy of being a Space Marine that we're trying to deliver to players. And being a Space Marine is not about sort of hiding behind cover, popping out, taking a couple shots, and then hiding again. It's all about being, as I said, this 7-foot tall superhuman warrior encased in this amazing, glorious armor, striding onto the battlefield. Everybody's looking at you. You're inspiring fear in your enemies, and you're just dominating the battlefield. So you're just always surrounded, always taking fire. You dominate through force of arms and superior tactics, and that's really what the experience is all about. So, there's obviously objects in the world that you can take cover behind should you need to do so, but really the combat model is all about sort of forward momentum and continuing to move and press against the enemy and kind of push through that line.
How deep is the melee combat? It looked like there were at least some kind of basic combos going on there. Is there a lot of room for variation in the way you attack?
Yeah, there's quite a bit of diversity in the combat system, and through progression we unlock more abilities for the player. But essentially we have a couple of core melee weapons. We have the Chainsword and the Power Sword. We also have an exotic, the Thunderhammer, which we'll use in very specific specific encounters. And so, we'll have a full range of sort of melee features. We've got obviously the normal attacks. We've got lots of really brutal sync kills in there. We have a grinding mechanic, which we use to kind of cut through enemies' armor. Again, there's several features. We've got, the ability to evade attacks and things, so we can create proper sort of boss battles and mini boss battles with our melee. And then through the progression, we can unlock all kinds of new abilities with the weaponry, making the weaponry more powerful, and also unlocking new attacks for the Space Marines.
So you guys are doing multiplayer, correct?
Absolutely.
You're not talking about it right now, are you?
Absolutely not.
So how much oversight does Games Workshop have at this point over your process, and how much liberty do you guys have to kind of stretch out within the 40K fiction and sort of explore your own ideas?
I mean, we have a really, really good collaborative relationship with Games Workshop. I think we're in a really strong position of trust with them, having developed, some of the most critically and commercially successful games in their IP. They know we love 40K. They know we respect it. We're really fortunate because we get a chance to kind of express aspects of their IP that they've never had to think about before, because they don't have to think about how do people move, or what does a plasma gun look like, or what does it sound like, or any of those types of things. And those are the kinds of decisions that we have to make every day. And in terms of the fiction, I mean, we've had a really good collaboration with them. All our story has been developed. It's a Relic story that's been developed with THQ. Strong, Danny Bilson at THQ, the EVP of Core Games, is a big story guy. He's got a writing team there that's really talented. We've had a great collaboration with them on all our fiction. And Games Workshop, again, has been a really good partner there, and with helping us understand. It's always been a very supportive relationship. It's not at all like they're noodling in our stuff. And I can safely say that we've never had to compromise anything that we wanted to do for the game.
All right, level with me. How much tabletop is going on around here after hours, or maybe during hours? You tell me.
It's more like during hours. A lot of tabletop going on here. There's a lot of tabletop gamers here, like guys that have been playing the tabletop ever since before the Dawn of War games. In fact, I think one of the big reasons why we ended up being able to work on Dawn of War, get that project with Games Workshop, was because there were so many kind of hardcore 40K tabletop guys here at the studio. Really kind of sold to Games Workshop that we really were passionate about it, we understood it, and we were going to do it justice. And that's continued to this day. I think it helps a lot that Games Workshop's really generous with their miniatures. So they basically,
I see how.
Yeah, so that, we use it for research, but we have access to pretty much anything we need to develop the game, and they're very generous about supporting us with any models that we might need, and they even give us like lots of glimpses into stuff that's coming down the pipe, so we know kind of what what's going to be developed in the future. It's pretty much, I would say, like if you're a 40K tabletop gamer, this is probably exactly where you want to be working right now.
So last question, you knew it was coming. When are we going to see this game?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
It's
you don't know yourself?
Well, I have an idea, but I don't know what I'm allowed to say. So I will say TBD for now. What I will say is we're extremely excited to get it out in front of people. We're delivering this game on the 360, the PlayStation 3, the PC. We're super excited about it. We love working on Space Marine. It's really, really fun. We just can't wait to get it into people's hands so they can experience it as well.
Very cool. Well, we'll look forward to it. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much for the chance to talk about Space Marine.
Alas, poor banana.